There are three shaktis inside you that will help elevate you spiritually. Prana, Tej, and Oj. Unmanifest witnesser is the chitta. Unmanifest witnesser that wants to become the enjoyer by extrospection is the Atman or soul. Curiosity springing from eternity of boredom makes the Atman desire Mahaprana. Atman is the bang and breakaway fragment. Chitta is its undifferentiated, anonymous totality. Kama or external desire is a borrowed book from the public library called Chitta. Atman or the fragmenting away soul is the borrower. Mahaprana is the process and laws governing the business of book borrowing from the library. What was borrowed needs to be returned back to the library, hopefully before the due date. Otherwise, dues will need to be paid. What broke away from the totality has to return to the point of origin. In stock market, we say one man's exit is another man's entry. One man's trash is another man's treasure. Similarly, the point of breakage or exit of the Atman from the undifferentiated totality of Supreme Chitta marks its entry into the manifest world of prana. Brahman cycles from unmanifest to manifest back to unmanifest. Just like Krishna tells Arjun in Bhagavad Gita, Avyaktadini bhutani vyaktam madhyani bharata avyakta nidhanannev tatra ka paridevana. Point of fragmentation of chitta creating lustful wandering souls called Atmans rising in the wave of prana leads to shrishti or destructive creation. Creation entails birth of so-called reference frames of space and time. These cardinal reference frames allow us to measure the manifestation. Space allows appearance to manifest. Time allows the appearance to evolve and devolve. Eventually, space-time reference is destroyed and everything it used to measure, calibrate, and observe and quantify dies with it. This is called pralaya or creative destruction. What it created must be destroyed. What occurred first is a structurally flawed question. For deeming something as first, a time reference has to be present to measure it. Time, being part of prana, was born during the first creation or prakriti. Hence, creation and destruction are beyond the confines of space and time. So Atman wants to enter the shrishti. Existence wants to experience extrinsic enjoyments. It needs a vector, vehicle to hitchhike a ride, to go from the world of unmanifest Brahman to that of Prakriti or manifest Brahman. Enter the prana. Prana is the pulsatile potentiality, the primordial energy, dance of dynamicity, the rhythm of vibrancy, and the all-powerful subtlety that brings probabilities and possibilities into physical, discernible, operational realities. Prana makes Atman manifest using Prakriti. Prakriti Gurah Karmani Sarvasha Ahankar Muratma Kartahamiti Manite. The Ahamkar Lode Atman thinks itself to be the doer when the rules of the Prakriti are doing everything. Atman in its pure form only exists. To make it morph from subtle existence to powerful presence, we need an octane fuel. Enter the ego. Ego is the octane fuel, the dharma bond glue that binds the Atman to the Prakriti, creating a temporary bond that never existed before. Temporary because this bond is going to break one day. In order to enjoy what you're not, this Atman, the prodigal son of Chitta, needs to forget that it originated from Chitta. Ego says, "Hey Prakriti, we need to suppress this awareness inside the Atman. Now, since we cannot kill the Atman, we have to suppress it." When this relentless witnesser, the introspective observer, is deluded using the delusionary duality of opposites in the web of Maya, then it will have to play by the set of rules of the gunas in the Prakriti. The rules of guna operate within the Mahabhut. They transform into doshas or defects as vat, pit and kaph inside the jiva. The representation of the Mahabhut in dynamic form of prana, combining, interacting, cooperating and sometimes disrupting one another, is the game of the doshas. So there needs to be cooperation between the Mahabhuts, fire, earth, air, water, ether, to allow the Atman to enter and enjoy them. Prana forms Prakriti composed of lower Prakriti, the Mahabhuts, and the upper Prakriti called the Sukshma Sharir, composed of the senses, mind and intellect. Bhumi rapo nano vayu kham mano buddhi revcha ahankarityam me bhinna prakriti rashtha. The Prakriti differentiates into the Mahabhut, lower Prakriti, and Sukshma Sharir, upper Prakriti. Rules of reverse engineering tell us that the unmanifest gives rise to the manifest. The subtle gives rise to the gross. Chitta gives rise to the Atman. Atman rides away with Chitta's counterpart called Mahaprana, which is the material world of Prakriti, is called Prana. Enter the Prakriti. Prakriti gives rise to upper Prakriti of subtle body and lower Prakriti of Panch Mahabhut. The entry of Atman into the manifest primordial energy of upper and lower Prakriti creates a jiva or biological life. There is a method to this organized madness, the madness of manifestations in the prana. So prana is the primary energy. What this primary energy creates on earth is the manifestations that we are experiencing. This manifestation of energy originates from sun for us living on the planet Earth. Enter the sun. It is where we get all our energy from. Energy is heat, light, sound, and beyond. Yes, you can not only see the sun, feel the warmth of the sun, but if you get close enough, you can hear the sun, the sound of the sun. References create restrictions. Gifts create gratitude. To be limitless is to escape the confines of space and time and the primordial energy, the sun. However, for now, come back to the primordial energy called sun. Your reference limitations let you describe the sun as a big ball of fire. What creates fire has heat, light, and sound. That is what is created when primordial, pure, pristine, serene energy is created. However, once it has created the Panch Mahabhut from the pristine primordial prana of sun, it needs to be acknowledged, observed, witnessed, and appreciated. Hence, the delusionary web of Maya is needed. The urge to create reflection, duality, polarity. To see the self by extrospection, we need reflection. Hence, enter the moon, the power of the Ida that counteracts the power of the solar Pingla. The power of moon is in nurturing, healing, relaxing, and acknowledging that the sun exists even when it is not seen, felt, or heard. A constant reminder that the sun exists no matter whether your flawed reference frame points or indriya are able to experience it or not. But I digress. Alas, come back, my son. Come back to the sun. Come back to prana. Prana is the energy. Bend it the way you like. Turn the primary energy into upper prakriti of man, containing thoughts, emotions, desires, or buddhi, containing dharma or intellect, or ahamkara, potentiate ego and maya. So, upper prakriti can be transmuted into man, buddhi, or ahamkara. This primordial electromagnetic energy, when distilled as light, becomes Tej. Tej means brilliance. Here, it refers to the glare or the brightness of the sun. So bright and so pure that the recipient mirror, aka our eye, is damaged if it tries to capture it by looking at it for too long. Just like a lens converges sun rays and makes the paper beneath burn by instantly catching fire, the power of distilled sun rays, aka Tej, within you can make you burn your manomai sharir mantle, and in the process it will burn all your thoughts, emotions, and desires. When you have no proactive thoughts, you generate no reactionary emotions. You have no desires. You are nispriha sthit pragya. Atman that was trapped in manomai sharir has advanced to jnanmay sharir. You have become tejasvi. Tej is best demonstrated as the sparkling, twinkling light in the eyes of Yogananda and Ramana. You see it as a penetrating, piercing stare of a siddha that seems to penetrate you within and without. Tej is the magic spell cast by a yogi where every devotee in a satsang has the same experience. The experience that the yogi was only and only looking at them uninterruptedly all through the satsang. The toddler has found his mother. The jiva has met the tejasvi. Tej is the brilliant flare of the sun, the light of 1,000,000 lux that motivates the pingla, that creates motivation, commitment, inspiration, ambition, and the divine desire to undertake nishkam karma. All karma yogis will become tejasvi one day. However, when the tejasvi has done all the work that needs to be done in the realm of nishkam karma, then he may not engage in any more karma anymore. He has become a relentless, exhaustive pursuer of contemplative meditation. Om, the sound of silence, in his eternal dhyana. For him, Brahma Muhurat is happening 24 hours a day. For when the Tejasvi goes into Samadhi, the Atman has merged into the Paramatman. The delusion duality of Maya has been dispelled. The Shiva in the Supreme Chitta is re-established. Then Yogananda has become the Ramana. If Tej is the supreme light, then Oj is the supreme pristine heat. If Tej is the distillate of upper Prakriti, Oj is the distillate of lower Prakriti. Oj is the distillate of the Saptadhatu, the 7 life rasas or life humors, Ras, Rakt, Mans, Majja, Med, Asthi, Shukra. If Tej initiates in the spiritual realm, Oj makes it manifest or happen in the physical realm. Oj makes things happen as perceived by the restricted reference frame of our 5 senses. Oj increases the acuity of perception and reception. When you wake up after a good night deep sleep, your Oj increases. Your senses are hyperacute. Your receptive power is increased. Ida has been finally balanced. If Tej is the twinkle in the eye, Oj is the natural glow on the skin and the appendages, the hair and the nails. Light is good for seeing, although it can generate heat if concentrated. Similarly, Tej is good for affirmations and goal setting. Getting to the goals needs development of ojas. Ojas is the manifested by resilience, endurance, and strong immunity. Kapha people have strong immunity because of distillation of their kapha dosha as oja. Your tejas sets the goals. Your ojas attains them. So in material world, prana, tej, and oj are merely different versions, rajasic prithaktu into yajnanam, different versions of same primary undifferentiated potential called Mahaprana. Doshas, when distilled back, become Mahaprana. Kapha becomes Oja. Pitta becomes Tej. And Vat becomes Prana. Mahaprana breaks into the sound of prana, the light of tej, and heat of oj when the Atman wants to experience the extrinsic enjoyments due to the underlying curiosity fermenting as desire. Panch Pratyahara, the five austerities, and three yoga, bhakti, nishkam karm, and dhyan yoga, are the modalities of reverse engineering so that we can form the dosha defect laden activities of kapha, pitta, and vata back into oj, tej, and prana. When some of the predestined karma bandhan is overcome by dispensation of duties using oj, the annamay sharir is ready to be discarded. You become a preta, an atman without a biological body, only containing subtle body, aka shukshma sharir. When you have distilled oja into teja to overcome karma bandhan, sanchit karma, completely in the same life, you have used the brilliant effulgent sun rays of nishkam karma to burn the desires in the manomay sharir without creating the black tar, soot, or smoke. Hence, you have overcome thoughts, emotions, and desires, forming the manomay sharir using the brilliant effulgent teja. Then the preta does not exist in afterlife, since the mind, buddhi, and ego mantle have been cast away, discarded, and shunned at the time of death. The remaining desire-free pure book, prana, is returned back to the primordial potential mahaprana, from which it was borrowed by this curious traveler, the Atman. Mahaprana comes back home to Shiv Chitta in unmanifest Brahman to bring back the rambunctious, trouble-making toddler, the prodigal son of Atman, Bade Baap ke Bigde Bete, back home to Daddy Shiv Chitta. Atman and Mahaprana sink into the undifferentiated eternity, the timeless, spaceless primary unity called Shiv Chitta, from once where they both originated. The borrowed book has been returned back to the library. The longer the Atman delays, the more fines it will pay. Okay to borrow the book once in a while. Just make sure you return the book in time. Jai Shri Ram.